So now, the reason that you're here is because I believe the title of the lecture, which is Regain Your Motivation. So let's have a little look at this word, motivation, okay? Now, I am going to read to you the little definition of what motivation is from Google. Because, you know, before I even get into this, I was preparing for the lecture, and I thought to myself, I better, you know, just see what might be out there that I can apply this to. So I met a guy who's a bodybuilder. I mean, this guy, young guy, 6'2", built like an absolute tank. And I said to him, I said, look, I'd love to have a pair of shoulders like you. Like I would, as a guy, I was only going to say, oh man, you look like a tank. And that's how I said it. But I just asked him, listen, how do you motivate yourself to do that every day? And he said to me something beautiful, really, really clicked with me. And he says, I just don't listen to the voices that tell me to watch Netflix and to eat chocolate. I just don't listen to the voices. And it was really, really nice because it leads right in to the second part of this webinar where I'm going to tell you where the voices are coming from. So it's nice and interesting. So I'm going to break this into two little parts. The first part, I'm just going to give you a couple of basics that you can use on an immediate basis to get your motivation going again. And then the second part, I'm going to show you the source of why it is that even when you decide to get motivated, you fall back again. Okay? What's the root of that and how to clear it up? Okay, so Google. We all love Google. I love Google for definitions. Okay, motivation. To motivate someone is to provide someone with a reason for something. Okay? Is to provide with a reason. Okay? Now, I break this down a little bit further because motivation is broken into two words. Motive, which is basically a reason. Reason. So you hear on TV, the guy had no motive for the murder, means that he had no reason. He had nothing that caused him to want to do it. So motive is basically a reason. If you have a motive for doing something, it means you have a reason. Okay? And ation is to provide with. Okay? Or to create. So the word motivation basically means to provide somebody with a reason. That's the basic meaning of the word, and it comes from motive and ation, which means to create a reason. So if you want to motivate somebody, you have to give them a reason to do something. If you want to motivate yourself, you have to give yourself a reason to do something. And without that reason, you are going to sit at home, watch Netflix for the day, because there'll be no reason. Why should I bother doing anything else? Why should I get up off the couch today? Why should I do it? Why should I go for this business? There's no reason. I don't see a reason. Why should I go and get fit? I don't see a particular reason. You know? So these are all the things that start to crop up in a person's mind. What's the point? You know, I couldn't be bothered. But the basic thing that's missing is this, is a reason why you should do it in the first place. So like if you live a life where you work every day, you go to your job 9 to 5, you go home, you handle the kids, you know, watch a bit of TV, go to bed and so forth, and things are going fine for you. If things are actually going well for you, then you have this idea, well, it's fine. You know, there's no reason to change things, okay? And usually when people say that, they say, I don't see a reason. I don't see a reason why I should do it. I don't see a reason. I don't think I should. I don't really think I need to do it. It's fine. I'm comfortable. Things are good. Things are not as bad as they used to be. It could be worse. Yeah. There's no point. Right? Okay. Now, if you have staff in your business. To get them motivated, you have to constantly give them reasons for doing the job. And one of the reasons might be, listen, if you don't work, you're going to lose your job. So that might be a reason for someone to work hard, okay? But it's somebody else pushing a reason on that person, okay? And same with going to college, you know, kids going to college. They're not really motivated in many cases to go to college, but the parents are like, listen, you need to go in and get an education, and that's it. You need to, you know, it's being pushed by the parents, and they're giving the person a reason for doing something, okay? And that's fine, but it's much better if you have your own reason, okay? Your own reason, because this is the thing that is going to motivate you, your own reason for doing it. It's all very well to be a slave in life and to be pushed along by others all the time, and you don't exercise your own free will, but if you have your own reason for doing things, and you discover that, and you push it, your motivation is going to become higher. So this is number one. So first, practical exercise. We're going to take up the subject of fitness. Now, I don't know many people who don't want to become healthy or fit or both, okay? But many people have a problem organizing the time, don't have the energy, too tired, couldn't be bothered, and so forth, okay? Because they're being motivated by external sources. So somebody else is telling them, oh, you should get fit, or TV is telling them, or society is telling them. What I want you to do right now, this is your first practical exercise. I'd like you to take a moment to think of a personal reason why you should get healthy and fit. And if you're already fit, fitter. Just take a moment to think about a reason why you should get fit. And pop it in the chat. So think about a reason why you should get healthy and fit. Your personal reason, not something your mammy told you, not something your husband or wife is telling you or your kids have told you to do, but some reason that is your personal reason for doing it. And if you don't mind popping in the chat, that would be fantastic. Okay, great, Mairead, I'm glad you got sorted with the sound. Brilliant. Anthony, longer life. Love it. Okay, personal reason, sounds good to me. Joanne, mental health. That's a very popular one. People do know that your mind and your health of your mind is connected to your body. So if you're physically healthy, that can help you to have a better mental outlook. So brilliant example, Joanne. Thank you so much. Sharon, help to get rid of anxiety. Great. Another good reason to get out there, taking walks, getting healthy, getting fit. That is your personal reason. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Neil, to look more attractive and meet a person that is like-minded. Fantastic. Neil, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People do want to look well. They want to look better. They want to look fit. They want to look healthy. There's nothing wrong with getting exercise and becoming fit because you want to look better and you want to look attractive. Nothing wrong with that at all. And tired all the time. Yeah, and that's a good reason. Thank you very much, Geraldine. Andy, to achieve higher in work. That's a really good one as well, Andy. Thank you very much. So, yeah, a person can be in a job, and that job does require a certain amount of physical health and fitness, because if you're not feeling physically well, it's going to affect you in work. Okay? Anybody else? Fiona, you will have a longer, healthy lifestyle. Fantastic. Yeah. Who wants to be tired all the time? Who wants to be sick? Who wants to be unhealthy? We don't want to be unhealthy. We want to be healthy and feeling well. Very good. Thank you, Fiona. Okay, Carol, to lose weight, to be able to engage in activity, events, and holidays. Fantastic, Carol. It's your personal reason. That's your thing. And look, one thing about this one here, people say to others, oh, listen, you should be losing weight. You need to lose a few pounds. You know, it's all very well for other people to tell you to do things, but unless you yourself decide why are you doing it, it's going nowhere. It'll always be just somebody pushing you to do it, you know. Okay, Elizabeth, thank you very much, Carol. Brian, find a woman my level. Yeah, okay, good. So a person has become physically well and physically healthy and physically fit to attract in the opposite sex or the same sex. Okay, Sarah, flexibility in everyday tasks become easier when you have a healthy body. Fantastic, Sarah. And obviously there's probably a motivation there for you to maintain health, because you've seen it. You've seen that flexibility improve and the ability to do your tasks improve. So you're deciding, you know what, I'm going to keep this going. Perfect. So that's number one. You have to find a reason. And it has to be your own reason. It can't be necessarily somebody else's reason. Now look, of course, you have responsibilities in your job. You have responsibilities in your family. If your kid is coming home from football training and says, Daddy, I need to be picked up from football training, you're not going to say, well, hang on a second, I don't have a reason to do that. Well, the reason is there, okay? And you can make it your own reason. You know, other people's reasons can come in. You can make them your own as long as you're aware of it. Okay? So that's the first thing. Now let's move on to part two. Okay, so this is a reason. This part is quite closely connected, and this is linked to happiness. Okay? Motivation and happiness. They are very closely related. Very, very closely related. If you're motivated and you're doing things and you're going places, then you are going to start experiencing happiness. So I'm going to read a line from this book, which is a definition of happiness. It's on page 50 for anybody who has this book at home. Okay, so I'm going to draw this out as I'm reading it out, okay? Happiness, so there's you, matchstick person. Happiness is the overcoming of not unknown obstacles. Okay? Not unknown basically means they're known. You know what they are. You know what the barriers are. You decide to get fit. And the biggest barrier that you have is you love sugar and you can't stop eating sugar. That would be a barrier. Okay? Or you want to open up your own business, but your biggest barrier is you have no money. That's a barrier, okay? And an obstacle. So happiness is the overcoming of not unknown obstacles, okay, toward a known goal. Okay? So, happiness is the overcoming of not unknown obstacles toward a known goal. Now, it doesn't say it's the achievement of the goal. It doesn't say it's only placing the goal there. It says overcoming. So if you are getting over the barriers, you are going to experience happiness. If you hit that barrier there and you can't get over it, your happiness is going to go down, and so is your motivation. So even if you started off motivated and you say, you know what, I'm going to get fit, but you just can't stop eating chocolate. You've tried, you can't stop eating it. That's a barrier. That's going to drop your happiness down, and that is going to go back and affect your motivation. Okay? So happiness is the overcoming of not unknown obstacles toward a known goal. And there's another little part of this definition. It's transiently. Okay, so transient is basically lasting a short time. Transiently means lasting a short time, the contemplation of or indulgence in pleasure. Okay? And transiently, the contemplation of or indulgence in pleasure. So there's two parts of the definition. Happiness is the overcoming of not unknown obstacles toward a known goal. And transiently means lasting for a short time, the contemplation, which means thinking about, contemplation of or indulgence in, which means enjoying, pleasure. So let's say your goal is to achieve a financial target in your business of 100,000 euros this month, okay? And you achieve your goal. And you were getting over that and you were experiencing happiness. And now that you've achieved your goal, you're like, yes, I'm going to go out and celebrate. And you're celebrating with your friends or your family. You go on a holiday for a week. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's still happiness, but it is transient, which means it only lasts for a short period of time, and this is why people get bored on holidays. You know, they've worked so hard to get the holiday. Now they've got the holiday and they're enjoying the holiday, but it's short-lived, and then they want to get back into the game again. So, the basic message here is this, and the basic ingredient that we're just going to focus on is this here, a known goal. Without a known goal, it is going to be a massive problem for you to motivate yourself. So if you do not have, look, people talk about this all the time, writing down your goals on a piece of paper, whatever. If you don't have a goal that you want to achieve that is known to you, okay, and this is a cloud, you won't know where you're going, and because you won't know where you're going, there'll be no reason to do it. Even if you're working in a 9-to-5 job and everything's going fine, and the family are fine, the kids are fine, the husband's fine, you've enough money coming in, that's grand, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you lose track of the goal, you have to keep the goal there. And if that goal goes missing, then you are going to go off track and lose that motivation. So in order to keep your motivation there, you have to keep the goal there. You have to keep it there. So if your goal is to get fit, and you hit the sugar problem, and you can't get over the sugar problem, well, you know, I mean, I'm going to go over now in a few minutes why it is that you give up. But you need to be able to see that goal at least. You need to be able to see that goal and keep it there and keep that goal in mind. So here's the next exercise for you, okay? What I'd like you to do right now, and this applies to any area of your life, yourself, your hobbies, money, relationships, family, your job, business, charity work, mankind, whatever it is. I'd like you right now to take a moment to think about this. I'd like you to think about a goal that you would like to achieve in your life, a personal goal. Now, it doesn't have to be long-term, it could be short-term. If you can't think beyond next week, maybe your goal is to wash the car. Okay, put it down. Maybe your goal is that you want to become very good in Italian, to learn Italian. Maybe your goal is that you want to travel to Alaska. Or maybe your goal is that you want to become a professional designer. So what I'd like you to do is just take a moment to think of a personal goal in life that you would like to achieve. Not somebody else, but you personally. Again, not your mother, not your father, not your kids, not your husband, wife, society, your teacher, the nurse down the road, the neighbor, your uncle, your auntie, none of those people, just you. So just put a personal goal, and if you don't mind sharing on the chat, that would be fabulous. Okay, Mary, no problem. Granddad, some people are happy doing nothing, so happiness is... Yes, Grandad T. Travis. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it definitely is inside a person. Happiness, 100%. We'll go over that in a minute. I'll just give people a chance to pop in some examples there. So just take a moment to pop a goal that you would like to achieve into the chat. Okay, so keep writing them in there, and I'll pick them up as we're going along, okay? Some people are happy doing nothing, so happiness. Yeah, okay, Grandad, got your point, yeah. Honestly, though, what I've seen is that when people don't have a goal, or they don't want to do anything in life, or achieve anything, and it doesn't matter if it's even short time, the motivation is very difficult to maintain, you know? That's what I've seen. Okay, Sarah, defining specific goals is often the hardest part. Yes, okay, and I'm going to tell you something in a few minutes, Sarah, about the biggest thing that makes you confused about your goals and makes you steer away from what you truly want to do in your life. Okay, Sarah, thank you. Michelle, stop smoking and become financially independent. Fantastic. Write it down and just keep that there, because that's your personal goal, and that's the one that you should keep working on. To be an accomplished published author, fantastic, Anthony, great. And then, you know, you should have something up in your room, pop it on the wall or something, or, you know, anywhere, just to keep reminding yourself of that. Thank you so much, Anthony. Janine, lose weight and get healthier. Fantastic. And one important thing, Janine, on this one is that you do need to set a deadline, you know, because people sometimes say, oh, I'd love to lose weight, but it takes sometimes years because they go in and out. Whereas if you put a date, you know what, I'm going to lose weight and become healthier by next March, by the 31st of March. So put a deadline there. That'll help you. Joanne, to work on yourself, fantastic. And again, deadline's important. Brian, pay off debt, fantastic, good. Nice financial goal. You want to achieve that. That's realistic for you. And once you do that, you go and you start overcoming the obstacles, you're going to experience more motivation and more happiness, okay? And once you've achieved that, Brian, you need to start and work out what your next game is and your next goal. Geraldine, goal is to live a happier, a healthier lifestyle. Wonderful, Geraldine. Good. And again, I don't know how you can put a deadline on it, but put some sort of a deadline there. Neil, earn more money to afford somewhere to live after the breakup of my 22-year relationship. Okay, sorry to hear about that, Neil. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with a financial goal, and if you have enough money, it really helps you to do things in life. So it's a really nice place to start off with. And then if you have enough money, then you can start to sort out other things as well very easily. So that is really good. Sarah, take up a dance class and be able to dance at a decent level. Bigger goal is to define my career direction, maybe decide on a PhD topic. Fantastic. Good. So Sarah, that's the thing. Just pick something that's real right now. Pick something that you can see right now. That's what I'd like to achieve. Bam, go for that. You know, sometimes, especially when people are leaving school, they get very mystical and know, what do I really want to do in my life? Often it takes quite a while for people to work that out. But just decide on something that you know you want to achieve and then go for it. Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. Andy, run 5 miles a day. Hang on, 5 miles a day, 5 days a week. Brilliant, Andy, and that should get you fit in no time. Mairead, lose weight, work on myself. Thank you, Mairead. And again, put your target date. Michelle, learn how to follow through. Yes, and hopefully this will help you. And the first part of that is to keep that goal there. That's the first part, and that will help you to be able to follow through. Mick, long goal is to have a book of poetry in the bookshop. I love it, Mick, and love to hear artists putting artistic goals there as well. So that's fantastic. Carol, to play golf well, to speak Spanish well, to lose 30 pounds. Nice set of 3 goals. Love it, Carol. Love it. Love it. And then you set out your times to work those out. And Michelle learned how to be disciplined. The first step is to keep your goal there, Michelle. And Fiona, give up smoking for good and lose weight and stay healthier. And again, Fiona, there has to be a deadline, you know, because again, if you say, you know what, I'm going to definitely give up smoking at some stage, and then 5 years later, the person's still smoking and still eating chocolate and still eating sweets and the whole lot, you know, put yourself a target there to achieve those, even on a bit-by-bit basis, you know. Folks, thank you so much. Let's move on. So, I mentioned at the beginning that people say, I don't have a reason to do it. I don't see a reason why I should. I don't see a reason why I should open a business. I don't see a reason why I should bring my wife out to dinner. I don't see a reason why I should bring the kids to holidays. Don't see a reason. Well, part of this is that you don't see a reason, and so you're going to have to see. So part of establishing your goal and handling your motivation is so that you can increase your seeingness, and that happens with communication. Okay? So for example, if you see no reason to bring your wife out for a meal or for a holiday, okay, and you're not motivated to do it, well, this is probably going to sort it out for you. If you communicate enough with your wife or with your partner, and you communicate enough, eventually you will come to the reason why. You will see exactly why you should do it. So the secret here is communication. It's the same with opening a business, right? If you see no reason why you should double your income, no reason, I don't see any reason why I should improve my job, I'm earning 500 quid a week, I'm grand, it's fine. I see no reason why I should double it. Okay, well, maybe that's fine, and I'm not saying that you should go and earn 5 million a week, but what I'm saying is that if you communicate more and you look into maybe the future, or communicate with business people, or communicate with successful people, or communicate with people who've got a lot of flexibility in terms of their time, you might just see, so that's why I should double my income. So let's say you're earning 500 quid a week and it's fine, okay? So you don't see any reason why you should do anything else except for go home and play video games and watch Netflix for the rest of your time, okay? So then you communicate to some people and you find out that these business people, they work 3 or 4 hours a day and they work for charity and they do things that they love and they spend time with their family and they've got a nice house and they've got a nice car and they're going on holidays. And you think to yourself, you know what, I want that. Now maybe you don't. Maybe you want to do something different and that's completely up to yourself. But the point is here, and what I'm trying to say is communicate. Here's a lovely little line. And this was something the author wrote up in one of his books. It's not in this book, but it's a beautiful little line. When in doubt, when you're not sure, when you don't really know what you should be doing or whatever, communicate. Okay? When in doubt, communicate. And this applies to your goals and it applies to your motivation, because if you don't see a reason for doing something, you're not going to be motivated. And if you're not communicating, you're not going to find the reason. So you need to communicate more. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that one. And you can absorb that and you can apply that in any area of your life. So any area of your life that you're not motivated in, there's some lack of communication. So you need to communicate more with people or just get out there and learn more things. Okay? When I say communicate, Brian, I mean it could be communicate to anybody. An example I gave you was if, for example, you've no motivation in the area of fitness. Okay? Well, maybe you want to communicate with a personal trainer and just talk to them about it, and maybe they'll be able to give you a viewpoint, if you can't motivate yourself in the area of relationships, maybe talk to somebody who's in a stable relationship, say, listen, how's it going? Or, and reach out there and find out people who are, let's say, single all their lives, is that what you want or not, So the point is to communicate and you'll usually find a reason. And sometimes when people are very successful in their lives, they kind of give up because they don't see any other reason. But if you look abroad into other countries that, let's say, aren't so privileged, as we are to quite a degree in Ireland, quite privileged with many of the things that we have. But if you look into some communities and some societies, you'll find things are really, really bad in some areas of the world. So even looking in those areas might motivate you to do something. Okay, so I hope that helps, Brian. Now, the next thing is this. So, Vincent, that's all very well in theory. Brilliant theory, Vincent. Thanks a million. All the best. Good luck to you now. Take care of yourselves. I knew that already. So what we went over is this. We went over, you need to have a reason. Okay? Put it up here, which is pretty much the same as a goal. And to get that, you need to communicate. Okay? Now, there's another one which has to do with, and it is a factor that can affect your motivation. Unfortunately, I don't have time to get into it right now because it's too big of a topic. And that is people who put you down in life. It is a factor. You could be very motivated and you meet somebody whose goal is to just make you smaller. And it can definitely get in under the skin and it can affect your motivation. But that's another topic for another day. Okay? Now, what I wanted to tell you about tonight is the biggest reason why you have difficulty motivating yourself. And I'll tell you exactly why. Okay, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this because I think I've covered that all right. Now, the biggest thing that affects your motivation is this. Is your thoughts. Okay? Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, okay, this bodybuilder that I spoke to, really, really nice guy, really well built, fit as an absolute fiddle. And what he mentioned to me is that it's the voices. He says, I just don't like listening to the noise. I don't listen to the things that tell me in myself to just sit down and do nothing all day. Okay? So thought is very important. How you think. If your thinking is clear, you are going to be able to come up with reasons for things. You're going to be able to think logically. You're going to be able to think clearly. And then that is going to get you into action. Okay? Now, your thought and how well you think is based upon the condition of your mind. So, and by the way, when I talk about your mind, we're not going to get into the whole brain theory, because that, in my opinion, is, I can't see how a person's memories are all stored in a piece of meat anyway. Mind is basically a collection of pictures from your past. That's it. It's a bit like a computer. You're carrying around your own laptop. That's what your mind is. It's a collection of all the things that you've experienced, memories of your experience. That's what your mind is, and the way that works, and the way it gives you solutions to problems in life. So every day you're experiencing things, the information goes into your mind, and if your mind is nice and clear and it's working well and that, you come up with these positive thoughts, okay? Positive thought, positive action, clear head. Now, the problem is this. The problem is that there is a part of the mind which is a little bit like an animal's mind, okay? In Dianetics, we call this the reactive mind. Now, it's called reactive because it reacts. In other words, it's push button, and it's an automatic part of the mind. And it's, okay, you could say it's quite a clever little part of the mind because it's designed to protect you from getting into painful situations. So for example, if you go to put your hand on a hot stove, something's going to trigger, and this reactive mind, sensing pain, just automatically, without you even realizing it, pulls your hand away from the pain. So there's a part of your mind which is designed to trigger and to help you stay away from pain. Okay? So it stores up any experiences that you had with pain in it as little, we won't call them memories, we just call them recordings, okay? It stores up these recordings of any painful experience that you've had, okay? And if it sees the same situation again, it's going to give you like a knee-jerk reaction. It's going to tell you, stay away, okay? It's going to tell you, stay away. So you can think maybe, that's brilliant, that's actually fantastic. What a wonderful little piece of machinery. And that, in theory, is great. The problem with it is that the reactive mind is more like an animal mind. It doesn't really think very clearly. It just thinks pain, pain, react, that's it. Protect from the pain, and it doesn't really think of anything else. So, for example, if you got bitten by a dog when you were 5, okay? Here's a dog, and he bit you, okay? And on the leg and whatever, and you have blood everywhere and so forth, okay? That's a dog. Okay, do you know what? I'm absolutely a terrible artist. So that there is a recording of a guy getting bitten by a dog when he was 5, okay? Now, the reactive mind stores that as a painful incident. So the next time it sees a similar dog, and it could be 10 years later, it could be 15 years later, the reactive mind bypasses the person and just tells the person automatically to stay away or get nervous or get stressed out. And if the person doesn't stay away, the reactive mind gets more intense and starts affecting his or her body. Now, why am I telling you this in relation to motivation? The reason I'm telling you this is because you have all told me about wonderful goals that you'd like to achieve. Okay? That is fantastic. Lose weight, travel, get fit, all these types of things. Okay? That's wonderful. The problem is this. You are carrying around a bag full of pain in this compartment we call the reactive mind. And that pain comes from negative things that have happened to you in your past, painful experiences. If, for example, if you lost somebody close to you, or if you were badly beaten, or if you had a serious accident, all this stuff stores in here. So what happens is this. Let's say you want to, you have this goal here. Better finish off this fella's head. Okay, you have this goal here to get fit. Okay? Great. Fantastic. You have a goal to get fit. That should be fairly straightforward. Brilliant. Easy. However, you joined a gym, and the instructor in the gym, nice guy. However, he was almost a duplicate of the guy who was walking the dog that bit you. Now, you've forgotten about this because it's years and years ago. Oh, Vincent, this doesn't make sense at all, but bear with me. He looks like, to your reactive mind, it's the same guy. You see, this reactive mind is a bit of a moron. It doesn't really think in differences and similarities. It just thinks everything is the same. Oh, new guy equals old guy. Stay away. So it steers you away from that. Not because your goal is wrong, but because there's something about this environment that's triggering off your reactive mind. Okay? And I'll give you a couple of examples of this. Let's say you were a kid and you opened your own little apple selling business. You were selling apples, whatever. No, we'll say strawberries. Okay, let's say you're living in Wexford and you're selling Wexford strawberries in the street, okay? Lovely kid, you're 11 years of age, you're full of motivation, you're going to sell all your strawberries. Fantastic. Great. And then a bully from downtown comes over, not only beats you up, but also steals all your strawberries, turns over your table, and then drops a strawberry on your head to squash it in. A traumatic experience for a child. Might not seem anything to us, but for a child it could be a very traumatic experience, and it gets stored here in the reactive mind as a pain memory. Okay? Now, years later, the person's working in a 9-to-5 job, and Joe comes along and says, hey, let's go into business together. There's a fantastic opportunity for us to get into business. What the reactive mind will do is it will say no. It will say no, don't do it. Because that equals that. Because a new business equals old business, even though they're completely different situations. The reactive mind thinks everything is the same. That's the same as that. So if you've had an argument with your partner recently, usually what comes up in arguments is, you're the same as you were 2 weeks ago. It's the same thing that happened 4 or 5 months ago. It's usually not. It's maybe similar, but it's a different thing. Okay? And this is the reactive mind kicking in. Let's take another example. Let's say you had a goal to get married. There's your goal, to get married. But here, you were going out with a guy for 4 years, and he left you, and it was a major, major painful loss. Okay? Now you're going out with a new guy, but then he gets angry with you one day, or gets upset, and you see a different side of him. Your reactive mind says, same thing, don't trust him, stay away, and it gives you all these thoughts and reasons of why you should just get yourself a nice bottle of wine and forget about men. Just forget about them. So, all these, look, when you're feeling good, you know what goals you want to achieve. All right? They are usually good, positive goals. When you're not going towards that, or you're going, oh, you know what, I couldn't be bothered, or I can't motivate myself, or I just can't do it, or it's not good enough, those thoughts are coming from here. So these are the voices in the head. So if you want to get yourself fit, and something comes into you and says, you know what, Johnny, I think what you should do now is you should just sit down for the day and eat chocolate all day. And then you have another thing in yourself that you're going, but hang on, I think I should go and go for a jog. No, Johnny, sit down. No, you're too tired. You're too tired, Johnny. You should look at all the things that you've done last week. You were very busy, so don't do it. Well, can I do it tomorrow night? No, tomorrow night's out as well. Why can't I do it tomorrow night? Well, because tomorrow night is going to be the same as tonight. We're not going to be able to do it. So your reactive mind is going to tell you no when you go for a positive goal. And your motivation is totally based on whether you're sticking to your goals or not. As soon as you lose sight of that, or as soon as you start to give up, because of this reactive mind kicking in, your motivation is going to hit rock bottom, and you're just going to put things off for ages and ages and ages. Now, that is that. And by the way, if anybody has any questions, please pop it in. Now, here is the next exercise I would like you to do. And if you don't mind popping this in the chat, I'd appreciate it. For you to motivate yourself to achieve your goal, what do you feel is the biggest barrier? What do you feel is the biggest barrier? And I'd like you to put it down. Now, okay, we could say motivation is the biggest barrier, but I want you to say, is it tiredness? Is it time? Is it stress? Is it not enough money? Is it not enough good food? You know, what is it that prevents you from going and motivating yourself? So if you don't mind popping that in the chat, that would be great. So the question here is, what is the biggest barrier that you hit in the area of motivation? And then I'm going to show you how it relates and how it can connect into this. So if you don't mind popping in the chat, that would be fab. So you can type away, and I'll give you a moment, and then I'll check all your answers, and that will be great. So again, I'm just looking for what's the biggest barrier that you experience when it comes to motivating yourself to achieve your goal. Okay? Keep them coming in, folks. Very, very good. I'm going to take it from the top. Michelle, thoughts how to stop ruminating. How does one stop this? Okay, yeah, the ruminating is kind of going into all this thing of, you know, putting things off and going into yourself. It doesn't, when that happens to you, Michelle, from your point of view, it seems this doesn't make sense. Why is it that I have to go in and start all this thinking and when all I have to do is this? It doesn't make sense. So when you are thinking some way that doesn't make sense, this is what's affecting you. It's your reactive mind. It's not this. You have a fantastic mind that is capable of creating and thinking fantastic things. All that negative stuff is coming from the baggage that is getting activated without your consent. And you think it's you. Oh, it's just me. I'm just like that. That's my personality. No, it's not. All this stuff is just extra stuff that's been churned up from the past. Okay, thank you, Michelle. Forgive the past. Yes, there's no point in thinking about the past, and what I'm going to do is show you exactly how you clear this up in a minute. So thank you very much, Anthony. Alistair, so many negative people who don't like seeing others doing well. Yes, Alistair, true. There are certain types, but you know, it's important not to label everybody with the one paintbrush. There is another webinar that I do on that subject. It is important in relation to the area of motivation, and in terms of if you do spot somebody who's putting you down continuously, it is important that you have to actually handle it. You have to address it. Let's see. Caltam, time and fear. Daniel, not enough time. Let's take those two things. Time and fear. So, time, okay? Now, of course, if you're busy all the time, you've got kids, it can be tough to organize it. But you have the ability to create time for yourself to do the things that you want. And there is a matter of logically working it out. But if you're being affected by garbage which is affecting the way you think, it's going to be very difficult to even think. Never mind work out a plan. You can't even, sometimes people can't even think. So because they can't think, they can't work out the time. They can't think logically, or there's just too much, you know? So I understand where you're coming from. In terms of fear, again, this is an automatic reaction from the reactive mind. The reactive mind sees something in the present that triggers off something in the past, and a person gets these nervous reactions and so forth and can get stressed out very easily. Thank you. Mairead, too tired. If you had enough sleep and you're eating well, and there should be no reason to be tired, but if you have, and if you have your goal there, if all those things are in place, it's this stuff getting triggered. Because remember, in this reactive mind is also stored moments of unconsciousness, times when you were knocked out, and that unconsciousness can get triggered again and actually make you feel tired. Thank you, Mairead. Okay, Neil, negative past experiences and the constant procrastination experience. Yeah, and exactly, baggage, and the baggage tells you to put it off. It tells you, don't go doing that right now, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it the next day. So it's a very good example, thank you very much. Brian, uncertainty with world affairs, unsure next moves to make. Yeah, and again, that relates to communication, and it relates to finding out, and it relates to building your confidence in yourself, all of which are ruined by baggage, which gets triggered. So you watch the news, you get upset over the news, because often the news usually starts off with bad news. And if you're sitting down in front of the news every day, there's a very, very good chance that you're going to be, especially if it's bad news, not feeling as good afterwards. And that's because the news triggers off the baggage as well. Uncertainty warfare, 3 kids, a busy family life in Ireland. Alistair, thank you so much for that. Look, huge amounts of people are working hard, trying to handle kids, trying to keep things going, okay? But that is what we call coping. Coping for years and not getting organised. Because if you're organised, you'll be much more in control of your time. But to be organised, you'll be able to think about what you need to do next and work out a plan. But to be able to think, that has to be cleared up. Because it just creates a mush. Okay? So yes, you're coping, there's time and so forth. But it's very, very important as the first place to start off with yourself and to clear up that. Because you're going to be able to think more clearly after that and then become more in control of your own life. Okay, next. Thank you very much for that, Alistair. Lack of self-discipline, low self-esteem. Yeah, Carol, lack of self-discipline. You think, I can't stop eating chocolate. I'll give you this example, right? I can't stop eating chocolate. But you ever notice when you go to these shops, you think, I'm not going down the chocolate aisle. And then I don't know, something is pulling you. You just, but you're going towards health. You're going towards health. The reactive mind, obviously it would be great if it always participated, but all it takes is anything in the environment to trigger off the past, and it affects the way you think, okay? That the main issue with self-discipline is your reactive mind, is the baggage. It's not you. It's not that you're morally wrong, or you're a bad person, or you're never going to change, or you're this, or you're that. It's that there is a part of your mind and your thinking, just your mind, that you're not in control of. It affects the way you think, and it tells you to go down the chocolate aisle, and then you give in because there's so much of your energy trapped in the past. Same story with low self-esteem. Thank you, Carol. Janine, tiredness, money, ADHD, autism, 3 kids. Yeah, again, Janine, huge amount of cope going on. Fair play to you for handling everything. And there's a lot of problems there. But it starts off with putting a goal there, and that is established when you're thinking clearly and you're able to clear the baggage. Thank you very much. Janine, feel I'm not good enough to have a book of poetry in a book, and that criticism is coming from your reactive mind, Mick, not you. Too lazy, no self-discipline. Thank you, Geraldine, reactive mind. I'm not calling you names, by the way, I'm sorry if I come across like that, but it's just that something's getting triggered. I can't tell you what's in there because I don't know what's happened to you. But something's getting triggered. The reactive mind is this thing that just reacts without your consent. Not good enough. Don't believe in myself. Anna, thank you so much. Again, same story. There's something in here that tells you you're not good enough. Sarah, dance class block, pride in the way due to negative comments in the past, PhD, committing to career path. I don't know what I want. Okay, yes. Good, Sarah. Good point. I brought up the subject of people putting you down. Because that can stick. That can stick. And it can stick inside a loss. And that's why the loss has to be addressed. Or the upset has to be addressed. So you can move on from that, You can move on from it. And then you do need to learn how to handle people who put you down. And it's very important to just be aware of it. Like I do cover this in another webinar, but it's very important. If somebody's putting you down directly or indirectly and it's not nice, just be aware of it. And you can always communicate to the person about it as well. Come into a career path, I don't know what I want. Okay, Sarah, that all clears up when you're able to think clearly, and then you can just establish what goals that you want. Anthony, kids still awake, tiredness, looking too far into the future, always giving a poor excuse not to do it. When I do it, I feel good, constant bad. Fantastic, Anthony, and you can see that when you actually do it, you feel better. When you actually do go along in the direction of your goal, getting over the barriers, you're actually feeling happier and doing better. But lo and behold, all it takes is one little thing to happen to trigger off something, and then you're getting stressed out, lack of confidence, losing your temper, and you don't know what's going on with yourself. And that is not you, it's your reactive mind. Not being focused enough on low self-esteem. Thank you, Fiona. Again, the same story with direction and lack of confidence. Thank you. Believe. Aaron, I have to start working, but I don't want to wake up in the morning. It's not about low self-esteem, we just don't like to wake up. Okay, Aaron, I completely understand. Look, when my alarm clock goes up in the morning, I'm not like jumping out of bed going, yes, Vincent, it's a wonderful day, let's do it, and just jumping around like a bunny rabbit. Look, it takes my body a little bit of time to wake up as well, you know. So, but it shouldn't take that long. Like, some people don't wake up for hours. It shouldn't take that long, okay? Because a person can be carrying around a lot of unconsciousness as well that can cause tiredness. So you will find that when you start clearing this up, your ability to, your mind is clearer, so that, you know, you don't have all these negative thoughts going on, which can actually make you more tired, you know. Okay, Aaron, I hope that helps. Right, folks. So let me get into quickly what to do about this. So I've got 5 minutes. Thank you very much, everybody, for your questions and your comments. I genuinely really appreciate it. And by the way, at 9 o'clock I'm going to be ending this webinar, okay? And everybody who wants to leave is fine, you can leave, and I usually keep it tight at an hour. But I will be keeping the question and answer period open for about 10 or 15 minutes afterwards. So if anybody has any extra questions, please let me know. Okay, now, very briefly. In Dianetics, we do a thing called auditing. I'm just going to really briefly go over this. And this is why I'm promoting this subject, because it works. And I've stuck with this for over 25 years because it works. And this is called auditing. And auditing means to listen and to guide. And it's done with two people. The person who's delivering it is called an auditor. And an auditor means one who listens and who guides. The person who's receiving the help, we have a name for that person. They've got their eyes closed, but they're wide awake. And this person, we call them a pre-clear. Okay? Pre means before, and clear is the end result that you're looking for in Dianetics, where basically what it means is you having cleared up the baggage and the pain that you're carrying around. Not that you've forgotten the memories, not that you've forgotten the people that you've loved and lost, but you've gotten rid of the pain that is keeping you stuck in the past and it's causing you to react. So we do this thing called auditing. It helps you to clear the baggage. It is not a way of life. It is not something that you do every morning for 5 minutes. It's something that you do until the stuff is cleared. The stuff is cleared and you're done. Will bad things happen in the future? Of course, sometimes bad things do happen, but you're much more able to handle it and deal with it. Okay? So that's what we do in Dianetics, and that's how you clear the reactive mind, and that's really how you recover your motivation and keep your motivation there. Okay? So look, I did give you tips in this webinar, and I'm going to write these down for you. Number one was the reason. Okay? So you need to have your own personal reason. And you need to have a goal, and you need to communicate. Okay? The reason I spent so much time on the last bit is because your biggest problem with motivation is your reactive mind. It's an animal part of the mind that you carry around with you that's a little bit like carrying around a dog. Okay? It just thinks like a dog in some way. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that, but it just reacts, it doesn't think. And it affects the way you think, and so it's really important to clear up what's in that and get yourself back again, because you used to be very motivated, very clear thinking, and all I'm encouraging you to do is to get back to who you really are and clear up what happened. Okay? So, folks, now, the reason this is important is because I spent quite a time coaching people on different things. So people have come to me in many situations and said, Vincent, I've got this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem. And I've gone, oh, fantastic. You know, I have a solution for you here. Here's a solution for that. Here's a solution for this and that and the other. Great. All solutions, and they've gone away with the solutions. Fantastic. The problem is that as soon as that reactive mind kicks in, the person goes into a bad mood, or gets unhappy or gets stressed out and then doesn't do the things that I've recommended. Doesn't do it. Not because they didn't want to, but because something is taking control of their thinking. Now, auditing is done while you're wide awake. This person has the eyes closed, and the auditor, their job is to help the person to return to things that have happened in the past while they're wide awake, using the exact 10-step procedure of Dianetics, which is explained in the book. Not just babble about anything, exact step procedure until each is cleared up. And when it's cleared up, you will feel it. You'll feel that recovery of energy. You'll feel that ability to think clearly again. You'll feel that ability to want to live, want to achieve things. This is all about restoring your motivation, because I can absolutely assure you, each person on this webinar, if you're not highly motivated now, I guarantee you at some point in your past you were highly motivated. Maybe when you were in your 20s, maybe when you were a teenager, maybe when you were a kid, you used to be highly motivated. What happened? Exactly. What happened is what happened to you. And the unfortunate thing is that painful experiences, physical pain, like accidents, operations, losses, emotionally painful upsets, people leaving you, deaths, departures, these all stick. They don't just float away on a little cloud. Time is a great healer and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't actually work. Just thinking that time is all going to fix it all, if I just wait, it'll all be fine in a few years, doesn't work. It may give temporary relief, but all it takes is something bad to happen again to trigger the whole lot over again. Okay? So that's why it's really, really important to clear up the baggage. Now, so I am going to get you a recommendation next, and if you have any questions, just please pop into that chat and I will answer your questions. Let's see if we have anything here. Okay. Don't sleep with devices, phones, makes on. Yes, Brian, that's a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of electricity flowing around us all the time. It's a good point. Like a therapist. Yeah, I mean it is. Like, the thing about this, an auditor is not somebody in a session who gives their opinion to the pre-clear. Their job is to help the pre-clear to find their own answers and to clear it up. Okay? The auditor's job is to listen. Listen and guide, not to take this opportunity to tell the pre-clear about what they think. It's not about that. Okay? And sometimes with some therapies, the counselor is more interested in telling the person what to understand rather than guiding the person to clear it up. Okay? And that's what auditing is. They are a therapist who lie detector see your challenge. Okay, Brian, fair point. Okay, so now I am going to tell you about the webinars that I explained at the beginning. So I told you about this online course that I deliver on a Friday night. And so for anybody who's interested in finding out more, interested in really getting to the root of that lack of motivation, I'm doing a 4-part online course, which I'm going to show on the screen right now. Okay, so the course that I do is on Zoom between 8 and 9 on a Friday night. It's called the Mind Explained course. Okay, it's 1 hour, it's interactive, and I personally make sure that you understand everything that's on that. And if you have any questions, you can contact me personally on it. Part number 1 is called A Wonderful Unknown Machine, the Mind. So we explain in this what went wrong, why it is that you used to think clearly and now you don't. Part 2, a source of unwanted behavior and emotion. In this part, we get on to the, so this is the next part, this is the next slide. Let me just see if I can get that up there. Okay, we got part 2 and part 3, never mind. Okay, so part 2 is a source of unwanted behavior and emotions. We really get into the root of your reactive mind, the root of it, okay? Not hugely pleasant, but very important to know this, okay? Part 3, losses and their effect on the mind. Exactly, if you lose somebody close to you, what effect that has on your mind, your energy level, and what you can do about it. And part 4 is the solution. So we go into here, the factors that you need to keep in place to ensure that you can clear up this past stuff. Now, this is a 4-part course. You can enroll on the course, and we're going to be popping up a link in a minute or two. You can enroll on the course tonight or any time, and you will be entitled to all of those modules. So if you cannot make it on one of those specific Friday nights, don't worry, because I do it on a circular basis. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go back and do number 1 again. And I take each one as an individual unit so that you're kept up to speed on it. Okay? So now, next slide, here we go. It's based on the Dianetics book, and this is basically about how your mind works. It's been translated into 50 languages, and the book is sent free shipping. So if you're interested in getting a copy of the book, that is sent to you with free shipping. Okay? So the next one is that the book contains all the details about the mind, its effects on your decisions, your thoughts, and your behavior, and a full explanation about how to achieve the state of clear. So that's that. And the next one is the book itself. If you're interested in getting a copy of it, it's €20. Okay? And it's a fantastic book. It's got 500 pages. It's got a nice, beautiful to read glossary, some nice pictures there towards the end of it, and it's sent to you with free shipping. Okay? Now, the Mind Explained course, the 4 modules, is also €20. So that is the course that I deliver on the Friday night on Zoom for an hour, and it's usually a much smaller group, and you'll get a chance to ask your own questions there and clear up anything that you want to clear up. Okay, and the next one is this. If you enroll on the Mind Explained course, which is the 4 modules, the Dianetics book comes free with it. So it's €20 for both of them if you want to enroll on the Mind Explained course. And the next one is a special webinar night offer to encourage you to get enrolled on this. And it's the Mind Explained course plus the Dianetics book. The book is available in 50 languages. It's a paperback, and it's fantastic, and it's sent to you with free shipping. Instead of €20, it's basically €15. So as soon as you enroll, the book is sent out to you immediately so that you can have it for your next, for your first module on the course. Okay? So that's the special offer. And in the next one, we're going to go over that it's valid until midnight tonight. Okay? So if you're interested in doing the modules with me, the link is there in the chat, and you can check that out later if you want, because we're going to keep the chat open. And the number is there to be called, and it's open there. The number's there until 10 o'clock tonight. So there'll be somebody on the phone there manning the phones until 10 o'clock tonight. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed this webinar. As I said, I'm going to end off now, but I'm going to kind of end and then begin again. I'm going to keep it open for any questions that anybody wants to ask afterwards. For everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, thank you so much for your attention tonight. For everybody on Zoom, I hope this has been of benefit to you. I hope it's helped you, and I sincerely hope that each one of you joins me on the modules, and I will personally take care of you to make sure you understand absolutely everything. Okay? And any questions that you have, I'll be answering them for you on that. Okay? So I want to say thank you to everybody on Zoom personally: Fiona, Sharon, David, Sarah, Daniel, Fran, Brian, Neil, Caltham, Mairead, Janine, Geraldine, Nick, Anna, Bilana, Renata, Grandad Tree, Mick, Andy, and Aaron. Thank you all so much for your time tonight. As I said, I'm going to keep this webinar open for any questions that you want to pop into the chat, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And so for anybody who wants to leave, completely fine. I won't be offended. I want to say thank you all, and you can sign off now if you like, and I hope to see you again at some time in the future. So for everybody who wants to leave, take care of yourself, and for everybody on the other platforms, thank you so much. That's that. Okay, I've done my goodbyes, and now hello to everybody who's stayed. Okay, so anybody who wants to stay, answer your questions. Okay, let's see. I had some coming in here. Okay, Anthony, I missed your last thank you, so okay, good, you're gone anyway. Okay, Andy, you're very welcome. My pleasure. You're very welcome, Neil. Janine, glad you loved it. I'd love to join the course at some point. Alas, I haven't been paid yet. I have £7 to my name at the moment. Oh dear. Okay, Janine, understood. Well, look, contact Sylvia anyway, and just, maybe she can stay in touch with you and work out how you can do it in the future at some point, So just hook up with Sylvia, and she'll basically help you with that, Janine. Okay, thank you. Renata, glad you enjoyed it. Sharon, thanks you for the thumbs up. Okay, Vince's picture will go again soon. Vince's picture will go up again soon. Okay, I thought my picture was there. Okay, I am there. I was there. I am there. I think I'm still there. Okay, so folks, we'll leave it open for a few minutes. If you have absolutely any questions, please pop them into the chat, and I would be happy to answer there for you, those questions for you, okay? I'll give you a little bit of history about myself. I came across this book in Munich, Germany in 1992 when I was over there looking for a summer job while I was in college, okay? And I was really looking for something that helped other people. I wasn't particularly interested in myself, to be honest. I was like, oh, I'm grand and so forth. But when I started reading the book, I was just blown away because it was very logical. The actual author was fully professional in, I believe, 29 different fields, including engineering, all sorts of different things. He was a professional master mariner and all sorts of things. And when I started reading the book, it just clicked. And I started using it to help other people, and it worked. And it gave stable results. In other words, you're not just trying to help somebody for Monday and then he's back to feeling crap again on Tuesday. You want to give somebody stable results, and that's what I have found Dianetics gave other people. And it gave them so much of that I decided, you know what, Vinny, you need to get some of this yourself, because maybe it might help you. And I got some, blown away, really, really helped me, and I've been promoting it ever since. And I've been promoting it for over 25 years, at least. Okay. Oh, Brian, you got the audiobook version of Dianetics, yeah? And yes, Sylvia's on there before I even get the answer. Thank you, Sylvia. You can absolutely get the audiobook. Absolutely. Okay. Anna, why people put us down when we want to go better? Wonderful question, Anna. Why do people put you down when you want to go better? Okay. Now, it doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense. You want to improve your life, and somebody is coming along and saying, no, you need to stay where you are in your little hole. Okay? So, there's two things to remember. Number one is, I'm going to leave up this wonderful work of art. I feel terrible that I've taken it apart. There's two things to remember. The person that you could be facing could be a person who has their own baggage triggered to a point where they've changed and they've become nasty. And they just nya, 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 nya. Actually, do you know what? Let me draw it. And I'm wiping out this art for you. That's how dedicated I am to give you this answer. Okay, so there you are. No, that's the other person. Okay, there you are, and you want to achieve this goal of a flourishing business, great health, a wonderful family, a successful community, a beautiful house, a nice car. You want to have positive things in life. You have this idea that you want to go blah, blah, blah. And now this person is going, nya, 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 nya. You're the worst person in the world. I don't even know why you think like that. You're stupid. You'd never make it. Why don't you stay at home with me? You're never going to make it anyway, and you're good for nothing. Okay? Now, there's two things to remember. For absolutely sure, this person is not necessarily thinking and speaking logically. Okay? So you can be assured that they've got their own baggage, which is already being triggered on a full-time basis. I have met people who have come in for Dianetics auditing. Very critical people. Angry people. And go through auditing, clear up their baggage, and you come out the other side, and they're actually friendly. So people can change. People can improve. Now, the problem is this, right? When that person is being nasty to you, and puts you down. Yes, their own baggage is affecting them, but that does not excuse it. That does not make it okay now for the person to be calling you names every day, because what it does to you is it triggers your baggage. So you might have been feeling happy, then they say something nasty, which is somewhere in your past, and your baggage gets triggered, and then you start getting stressed out, or you start doubting yourself. All they're doing is pressing your buttons. If that stuff wasn't there, they could press your buttons till the cows come home, and it's not going to have a major effect. But you do have the right to say to the person, listen, I know you think I'm useless. I know you think I'm worthless. But honestly, when you say those things, it doesn't make me feel good. So if you don't mind, would you mind not saying those things? Grand. Now, will I put the kettle on? Okay. So it's important to realize that even if a person is being affected by the baggage, it doesn't necessarily make it okay. Okay? And you have the right as an individual to communicate to that person, and it's usually better done in a very nice way to say, listen, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Because if you don't, it is going to constantly keep this chugged away. But the basic reason why to do it is the reactive mind. Okay, now, the course itself, the course that I'm delivering on a Friday night, between 8 and 9, the purpose of it is to educate you on what's going on in your reactive mind. Okay? We can cover a certain amount of stuff in the topics. So for example, we go over what the mind is, because most people think the mind is the brain. Okay, let's just talk about the brain, and they talk about, oh, I have a chemical imbalance this and I have a chemical imbalance that. Well, we don't get into that at all. We just go into how it works and how to handle it. So the first webinar is all about the mind, how it works and what went wrong and why it's going wrong. Okay? And then we get into the nitty-gritty. You see, in this reactive mind, there's a key thing down here, which is keeping the whole thing churned up. And that's what we go over in webinar 2. So this is another education. We get into the very basic thing that's going on. Okay? On top of that then, we address, as I mentioned, losses. Now, people think, okay, you know what? Finish, everybody has losses. You just have to get on and move on from it. That is true. But you know what? Many people are stuck in losses for years and years and years, and they just can't shake them. And it affects their motivation. It affects them from moving forward in life. So we have a whole module dedicated to just this particular topic of losses. Okay? And then we'll go over the solution. Okay, there's one of the modules about the solution. Now the Dianetics book itself, the book in book 3, chapter 5, goes over the exact step-by-step procedure. So in this particular module on the solution, we don't go into all the nitty-gritty of exactly all the tiny steps, right? But we go into all the basics that you need to have in to make it work. And then you can just start applying it from the book. I've had people who have done the course, and halfway through the course have decided, you know what, I want to start clearing this, and there are ways to go about that straight away. But the main point of it is to just educate you on what's going on with yourself and with others, and then when you've done that, you will be wiser about what to do yourself. You won't necessarily have to rely on Vincent telling you. You will be able to decide yourself, is this for me or is it not for me? But the webinars, the modules that I gave on a Friday night will give you the opportunity to be able to decide for yourself, basically. Okie dokie. Right, folks, so if anybody has any questions, I think I must have explained things so clearly tonight because I didn't have many questions coming in there, but if you have absolutely anything that you want to comment on, or even if there's something that you got out of tonight's webinar, or any question at all, you can pop it into the actual chat there and we will take it up as soon as I see it. I have to see it in order to take it up. So Anna, I hope that answered your question. Okay? I hope that answered your question. There's more to learn about this. As I mentioned, there's a whole webinar that I deliver just about people who put you down. So it's not easily answered in one sentence, but I hope that gives a little bit of a guideline about what one of the major factors is. Because when somebody's putting you down, it doesn't really make sense. So for anybody else, let me ask you, was there anything that you enjoyed about the webinar tonight? Anything that you got out of it? If you don't mind popping it in the chat, I'd love to hear it. Anything that you learned, was there anything that you thought, you know what, that makes sense? You can put that in the chat, that'd be great. Make me feel great. Make me feel very motivated. And if not, you're not to worry. And keep it to yourself, store it all in. It's completely fine by me. Anything else I can tell you? As I mentioned, you can sign up on the modules at any point. You don't have to worry about not getting all the modules because you will. I deliver them in rotation, so I deliver modules 1 on a Friday night. The next Friday night I deliver the next one. The next Friday night I deliver the next one, and so forth. And then I go back again to the beginning and go over them again. And folks, I'm not a sales guy. I'm a technical guy. I really just want to help people, and it's one of the things that has driven me and motivated me in life is helping people. I love to coach, and that's been the thing that has kind of inspired me in my life to be able to coach and help others. That's what I love to do. I love giving people advice, but I mainly love helping people with the reactive mind because it's really the root. After many, many years of giving advice, helping people with tips, I have found that the best and the most stable answer is to help a person to clear up the reactive mind, because that is the thing that causes a person to go the wrong direction. They know what the right direction is, but they go the wrong direction. Okay, how important is it? We got comments. You're going to keep me here all night now. I was thinking of wrapping up, but now here we go. Brian, thanks. How important it is to have simple goals that can be quantified. Yeah, it's so important, Brian. You make a really, really good point. Without goals, I don't know, what do you do? Just walk around in a circle every day. Even if you don't know what your goals are in life, you can at least set a goal that by today you're going to clean the kitchen, or by next week you're going to have the grass mowed. It could be as simple as that, but there has to be a deadline. There has to be I'm going to do it this weekend, and then the satisfaction of being able to tick the box, of being able to say you've done it, and that is good. That's good for you. It's a good feeling to be able to tick those boxes. And yeah, the quantifiable, it's very important. Like if you want to lose weight, okay, you can say, well, I'm going to lose weight in 6 months. Well, how much weight and by when? How much weight and by when? Put the target there. If you're a businessman and you want to expand your business, well, how much do you want your income to grow? How many staff do you want and by when? It gives you a goalpost. When you're playing a game of football, there has to be a goal that you're aiming for, If there's no goal, you could be kicking the football and nobody knows where to put the football. And people get exhausted playing football because there's no goal. There should be a goal on either end. It usually is. Okay. Daniel, you look very young for your age, I think. Well, thank you very much for the compliment, Daniel. Appreciate it. Mairead, thank you. I do believe you are helping people, but money need to pay for the amazing work you're done. Okay. Helping people, money to pay. Yeah, I mean, the point is, Mairead, is that I do love to help people, and I'm here for a long time promoting this subject. And yes, you do have to pay for the book, but honestly, the value of it is it's worth it. It is worth it. And yeah, and honestly, the pay you get for a living is not just money. It's the satisfaction of a job well done. It's friendliness. It's seeing people improve. There are a lot of rewards that you get from helping people that are not only just money. And that's important. Money is vital as well, because without it you can't eat in this society. You need money to eat, and you need money to live and achieve your goals in many respects. But it is not the only thing. It is not the only reward that you get for living. But anyway, thanks, Mairead. Okay, is a new one. Sarah, the concept of the author is a new one to me. Is it similar to a life coach? Beautiful answer. Question. I need to drink more water. The purpose might be the same, Sarah, okay? For example, I've done coaching many, many times, and the purpose is to help a person to become better. Purpose is correct. However, there's one massive, massive difference. The auditor, and I've gotten rid of my beautiful piece of art. Where's Anna? Let me just ask Anna what happened to that picture. The auditor is a person who listens and guides. He is not there to give his opinion about what's wrong with the person or what they should do in life. His job in the session is to help the person to clear up these painful incidents, and as he or she does that, the person will become brighter and will start to click about things themselves. They start to go, that's why, no, and they start to click themselves. If the auditor in a session turns into a life coach and tells the person, listen, the reason you're upset is because your mother beat you every day for a year, then the person you're helping is now going to be looking to you for the answers as opposed to their own storage of information, which is where the correct answers are. It's not that the life coach might not know something, but he doesn't know exactly, or she doesn't know exactly. The person is the one who knows. And the auditor is the person who guides the person to clear up the pain, and underneath all that pain, once it's got rid of, is the answer that the person is looking for and the realizations about themselves. Okay? Hope that helps, Sarah. Okay, folks. It's 9:25. Have you no homes to go to? That's what they used to say, kicking us out of pubs years ago. Have you no homes to go to? Okay, look, folks, I'm going to end off now. You're welcome, Sarah. Thank you all so much for your time tonight. Hope it's helped. I would love to see everybody on the modules. Get yourself enrolled on it tonight, and we'll see you on Friday night. Otherwise, if you're not, don't worry. I will hope to see you again sometime. So thank you very much, everybody who's joined, and David, Sarah, Daniel, Fran, Brian, Carlton, Mairead, Nick, Anna, Aaron, Grandad, and Bilana. Thank you so much, Sarah. You're very welcome, Mairead. You're very welcome. Folks, have a beautiful evening. Have a nice cup of tea, and take care of yourselves. Bye.